to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that, because that perhaps will deter them from doing something that would be reckless, foolish, and tragic.
For all the Democrats and liberals that support Iran and hate Israel, I just want to show y'all something that Barack Obama said when he was president. Maybe if y'all hear it from him, maybe it'll help make sense to y'all.
Because a nuclear Iran is a threat to our national security, and it's a threat to Israel's national security. We cannot afford to have a nuclear arms race in the most volatile region of the world. Iran's a state sponsor of terrorism, and for them to be able to provide nuclear technology to non-state actors, that's unacceptable. And they have said that they want to see Israel wiped off the map. So the offers Iran a choice. They can take the diplomatic route and end their nuclear program, or they will have to face a united world and a United States president, me, who said we're not going to take any options off the table.
I don't know, bro. It just sounds an awful lot like what Donald Trump's saying right now, if you ask me. Which comes off to me to make it seem as if y'all actually understand what we're saying and y'all are actually for what we're saying. Y'all just are against it because Donald Trump's the one initiating it now. Because Donald Trump's leading it and a Democrat like Barack Obama isn't leading it now. Y'all have an issue with it.
Exactly, and don't you forget that Barack Obama gave a lot of cash to Iran. He bowed just like this to Iran. He helped Iran be emboldened to get to this point. That's where we're at. Liberals, after they just replaced their Palestinian flag with a Mexican flag, and now have to find an Islamic Iranian flag. It's got to be so tiresome being a liberal. Relax, leftists. It was a mostly peaceful Iranian bombing. That's what we're going to call it. It wasn't anything bad. It was mostly peaceful, right? Iran has elected to receive. Yes, they have, and we've given them every chance for peace. We've reached out. We've tried to see if they would make a deal. We've gotten to this point, and now that looks to happen. Let's go to Pete Hexath to get more details.
And I think Tehran is certainly calculating the reality that planes flew from the middle of America in Missouri overnight, completely undetected, over 3 of their most highly sensitive sites, and we were able to destroy nuclear capabilities. And our boys in those bombers are on their way home right now. We believe that'll have a clear psychological impact on how they view the future. And we certainly hope they take the path of negotiated peace. But I could not be more proud. For the entirety of his time in office, President Trump has consistently stated for over 10 years that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon. Full stop. Thanks to President Trump's bold and visionary leadership and his commitment to peace through strength, Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated. Many presidents have dreamed of delivering the final blow to Iran's nuclear program, and none could until President Trump. The operation President Trump planned was bold, and it was brilliant, showing the world that American deterrence is back. When this president speaks, the world should listen. And the U.S. military, we can back it up. The most powerful military the world has ever known. No other country on planet Earth could have conducted the operation that the chairman is going to outline this morning. Not even close. Just like Soleimani found out in the first term, Iran found out when POTUS says 60 days that he seeks peace and negotiation, he means 60 days of peace and negotiation. Otherwise, that nuclear program, that nuclear capability will not exist. He meant it. This is not the previous administration. The President Trump said no nukes. He seeks peace, and Iran should take that path.
Without a doubt. And Operation Midnight Hammer is already trending on X. Amazing job by our president military. It is receiving praise. Don't let the media fool you. From both sides of the aisles that Donald Trump took decisive action to put this to rest. The Iranian parliament has just ordered the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. Over 20% of global oil production flows through there. Might see U.S. Navy intervention there, so things will heat up. Iran will retaliate. We'll see what happens. The USA has released an image of the bunker buster being dropped on Iran. That would be quite the buster, if you ask me. And we had an input of cash from Biden and Obama, and look what the output was, right? So their actions had extreme consequences, which really led us to where we're at right now. Remember how we got here. Hillary Clinton supplied Iran with uranium to enrich their nuclear program. Barack Obama gave $1.7 billion that they used to fund their nuclear program, and Joe Biden unfroze over $16 billion of funds for Iran, so don't even try to blame President Trump. On Meme Wars, we had a poll in our community tab. Would you support Trump if he approved the U.S. military striking Iran? And 60% of you said yes. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump listened, and the follow-through happened, right? So just a reminder, Donald Trump is the greatest president of a generation. He is the right person that we needed at this time. God bless him, and let's get right to the details of the operation.
Last night, on the President's orders, U.S. Central Command, under the command of General Eric Kurilla, executed Operation Midnight Hammer, a deliberate and precise strike against 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. This was a complex and high-risk mission carried out with exceptional skill and discipline by our joint force. I want to thank every service member, planner, operator that made this mission possible. Their actions reflect the highest standards of the United States Armed Forces. This operation was designed to severely degrade Iran's nuclear weapons infrastructure. It was planned and executed across multiple domains and theaters with coordination that reflects our ability to project power globally with speed and precision at the time and place of our nation's choosing. This was a highly classified mission with very few people in Washington knowing the timing or nature of this plan. I'll refer you to the graphic on the side as I walk you through some of the operational details. At midnight Friday into Saturday morning, a large B-2 strike package comprised of bombers launched from the continental United States. As part of the plan to maintain tactical surprise, part of the package proceeded to the west and into the Pacific as a decoy, a deception effort known only to an extremely small number of planners and key leaders here in Washington and in Tampa. The main strike package, comprised of 7 B-2 Spirit bombers, each with 2 crew members, proceeded quietly to the east with minimal communications. Throughout the 18-hour flight into the target area, the aircraft completed multiple in-flight refuelings. Once over land, the B-2s linked up with escort and support aircraft in a complex, tightly timed maneuver requiring exact synchronization across multiple platforms in a narrow piece of airspace, all done with minimal communications. This type of integration is exactly what our joint force does better than anyone else in the world. At approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, and just prior to the strike package entering Iran, a U.S. submarine in the Central Command area of responsibility launched more than 24 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles against key surface infrastructure targets at Esfahan. As the Operation Midnight Hammer strike package entered Iranian airspace, the U.S. employed several deception tactics, including decoys, as the 4th and 5th generation aircraft pushed out in front of the strike package at high altitude and high speed, sweeping in front of the package for enemy fighters and surface-to-air missile threats. The strike package was supported by U.S. Strategic Command, U.S. Transportation Command, U.S. Cyber Command, U.S. Space Command, U.S. Space Force, and U.S. European Command. As the strike package approached Fordo and Natanz, the U.S. protection package employed high-speed suppression weapons to ensure safe passage of the strike package, with fighter assets employing preemptive suppressing fires against any potential Iranian surface-to-air threats. We are currently unaware of any shots fired at the U.S. strike package on the way in. At approximately 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:10 a.m. Iran time, the lead B-2 dropped 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator weapons on the first of several aim points at Fordo. As the president stated last night, the remaining bombers then hit their targets as well, with a total of 14 MOPs dropped against 2 nuclear target areas. All 3 Iranian nuclear infrastructure targets were struck between 6:40 p.m. and 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's about 2:10 in the morning local time in Iran, with the Tomahawk missiles being the last to strike at Esfahan to ensure we retain the element of surprise throughout the operation. Following weapons release, the Midnight Hammer strike package exited Iranian airspace and the package began its return home. We are unaware of any shots fired at the package on the way out. Iran's fighters did not fly, and it appears that Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see us. Throughout the mission, we retained the element of surprise. In total, U.S. forces employed approximately 75 precision-guided weapons during this operation. This included, as the president stated last night, 14 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, marking the first ever operational use of this weapon. I know that battle damage is of great interest. Final battle damage will take some time, but initial battle damage assessments indicate that all 3 sites sustained extremely severe damage and destruction. More than 125 U.S. aircraft participated in this mission, including B-2 stealth bombers, multiple flights of 4th and 5th generation fighters, dozens and dozens of air refueling tankers, a guided missile submarine, and a full array of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, as well as hundreds of maintenance and operational professionals. As the Secretary said, this was the largest B-2 operational strike in U.S. history and the second longest B-2 mission ever flown, exceeded only by those in the days following 9/11. Well prior to the strike, General Kurilla elevated force protection measures across the region, especially in Iraq, Syria, and the Gulf. Our forces remain on high alert and are fully postured to respond to any Iranian retaliation or proxy attacks, which would be an incredibly poor choice. We will defend ourselves. The safety of our service members and civilians remains our highest priority. This mission demonstrates the unmatched reach, coordination, and capability of the United States military. In just a matter of weeks, this went from strategic planning to global execution. This operation underscores the unmatched capabilities and global reach of the United States military. As the president clearly said last night, no other military in the world could have done this. I join the president and the secretary in being incredibly proud of the air crews, naval forces, cyber operators, planners, and support teams and commanders who made this mission possible. It is their skill, discipline, and teamwork that makes this operation possible. I am particularly proud of our discipline related to operational security, something that was of great concern to the President, the Secretary, General Kurilla, and me, and we will continue to focus on this. As we stand here this morning, many assets are still airborne, and we have hundreds deployed. I ask that we keep our warfighters on their way home and our deployed service member in our thoughts. Our joint force remains ready to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests in the region. Thank you very much.
Thank goodness that we have Donald J. Trump as Commander-in-Chief. Could you imagine what would be going on right now if we had a Kamala Harris administration, how she would be reacting to the threat of Iran? We've gone through failed Democrat leadership time and time again. When it came to responding to Iran, it was funneling money to them constantly to get them to come down from their threats of a nuclear bomb being thrown over to Israel's way. Barack Obama funneling money. We had Joe Biden giving money. We had Hillary Clinton with appeasing to them as well. But we have Donald Trump standing firm, and he gave a 60-day window to them for peace. They did not take his offer, leaving Trump and the U.S. military no other way but to respond in this manner to help protect Israel, to help protect American interests as well. Democrats are going to try to spin this as going to war. There's been no war issue. That doesn't need to go to Congress. There's been no war declared. You're just going to hear the neocons really coming out, trying to ramp things up because Iran is trying to respond by closing the Strait of Hormuz, excuse my pronunciation there, Hormuz, I don't know. That will really hurt the oil industry as well. We see gas prices going up. So we will see how that plays out. But hopefully, diplomacy wins. And just remember, everybody told you on the left that Pete Hegseth was not prepared to be the defense secretary. And look what he helped pull off as one of the greatest military exercises we've seen in generations. B-2 bombers flying from Missouri, undetected, doing their work, and heading back to the United States of America. Hopefully peace will take effect, but amazing job by Donald J. Trump. 61% of you in the community wanted to see Donald Trump respond in this manner. I know a lot of you did not, but we have a threat. We have to help protect Israel. I understand. Hopefully peace will happen. Nobody wants a war. Nobody wants boots on the ground. Nobody wants endless wars. That is not part of the Make America Great Again movement by any means, but also peace through strength. We showed our strength militarily. We showed our strength. Now we are offering peace. Come to the table. Let's figure something else out. We've destroyed a lot of your nuclear stuff. You do not have a lot of a negotiation here anymore. Let's talk peace. Let's see what happens. Leave your comment below what you thought about today's video, what you thought about the overnight Operation Midnight Hammer or something like that. I think it's a really good operational name. What you thought about that, how it was handled, and how the liberals are going to respond to that. Leave a comment. I'll respond to as many as you guys can. Thumbs up this video. Let's get it trending so others get to see what the Trump administration has done to protect them, protect Israel, protect our interest. Thank you guys so much for all the support like always. Today's video is over, and I'll see you guys on the next one.